Scafani?
Yes.
Board Member Malloy?
Yes.
Board Member Storm?
Yes.
Supervisor Family?
Yes.
Resolution 6717, resolution to authorize joint scenic byway smart growth grant application. Whereas the town of Shandaken is part of the Catskill Mountain Scenic Byway, CMSB, and whereas the CSMB members had several meetings with members of the Mountain Clove Scenic Byway, MCSB, located in the neighboring town of Hunter, located in Greene County. And whereas both the CMSB and the MCSB are on common ground and using their status as scenic byways to draw more visitors to our region as a whole. And whereas the New York State DEC has recently announced a round of smart growth grant funding available to entities in our region, and whereas both the CMSB and the MCSB are interested in pursuing a joint application of funds for the maximum amount of $75,000 in order to create promotional materials and help with other endeavors unique for each byway while illustrating further collaboration throughout our region. Therefore, be it resolved that the Town of Shandaken Town Board hereby authorizes the supervisor to file an application to the Smart Growth Grant Program on behalf of both the Catskill Mountain and the Mountain Clove Scenic Byways in order to benefit each of these assets in our region, and I move its adoption.
I second.
Board Member Alba?
Yes.
Board Member Scafani?
Yes.
Board Member Malloy?
Yes.
Board Member Storm?
Yes.
Supervisor Family?
Yes.
Resolution 6817, authorize contract for CWC funding for purchase of parcel to be used for relocation of town buildings. Whereas the town of Shandaken purchased a parcel of land along Route 28 in Phoenicia, SBL 25.11-2.100, with monies provided by the New York City Department of Environmental Protection under the new infrastructure program. And whereas at the close of that agreement, the town was responsible to pay restitution to New York City DEP for the parcel purchase, either through sale or outright purchase by the town. And whereas the town of Shandaken has made several attempts to sell said parcel with no offers being made over the last several years. And whereas NYC DEP is requesting immediate and final closeout of this agreement. And whereas the town of Shandaken accepted a LFA for the hamlets of Phoenicia and Mount Tremper. And whereas the LFA highlighted certain activities to mitigate flooding and improve resiliency and response to the future flood events. And whereas one of these projects is retention of the town-owned parcel along Route 28 in Phoenicia for future use as a site for critical community facilities. And whereas the town of Shandaken Town Hall, Highway Garage, and Ambulance Department are all located within the floodway of the Esopus Creek. And whereas the town, through the New York Rising Program, is initiating a feasibility study to design for a new town complex, Town Hall, Highway Garage, and Ambulance Department, to meet the goals outlined in the LFA. And whereas the town, through Resolution 134-16, authorized the application of the Catskill Watershed Corporation, CWC, for funding and was approved by CWC Resolution 2987. Therefore, be resolved that the town of Shandaken Town Board hereby authorizes the town supervisor to execute the contract with CWC for said above purchase for the sum of $114,000, and I move its adoption.
I'll second.
Board Member Alba?
Yes.
Board Member Scafani?
Yes.
Board Member Malloy?
Yes.
Board Member Storm?
Yes.
Supervisor Family?
Yes.
I just want to say though, we do a lot of these CWC and relocations and so far, yet there's still a ton of houses in this area that need to be taken down before we do anything else. How come we still got all these flood houses around?
That we can answer you. That's the county that's handling that, and the county is.
What, Dragon or what the heck is their deal, man? Good God, they built the whole Jersey Shore back
Well,
up. We still got houses.
I wish Warren was here because he'd give you more details because he knows about the demo permits that he's issued. I know up on Oliveria, there's 1 or 2 houses that have already come down.
Right.
They're due for, there's 2 over here on Fox Hollow that are getting ready. What's that?
One's already gone.
One's already gone, another one is getting ready to go. So they're working through it. It's the county's
Yeah,
process.
I
It's
know,
taking
maybe I'm
forever.
just bending, not really
No.
asking. It's just, look, after a while, come on.
Someday we'll make it to Mount Trump.
What
Yeah.
on Mount Pleasant Road?
Yeah,
Mount Pleasant.
but still 6
Yeah,
years
there's-
later.
I mean, there's 18 of them that are in there that are still lined up.
Right.
Yeah,
And it's just the
ridiculous.
county's process on how they bid out for the demolition, for the transfer of sale, everything else.
How many are there?
There was a total of 18 that were listed on the original. I think maybe one backed out.
They're crossing me.
Yeah, you know the process. Resolution 6917, resolution to accept audit of town court. Whereas section 2019A of the Uniform Justice Court Act requires the town and village justices annually provide their court records and dockets to the respective town and village auditing boards, and that such records being examined or audited, and that the fact be entered into the minutes of the board's proceedings. And whereas the New York State Office of Court Administration has requested the town of Shandaken provide a copy of her most recent audit or examination of her local court's records, and a copy of the board resolution acknowledging that the required examination or audit was conducted. And whereas such examination or audit was conducted on January 10, 2017 by town board member Faye Storms, therefore be it resolved that the town board acknowledge that the examination or audit was conducted and move its adoption.
I second that.
Board Member Alba?
Yes.
Board Member Discofani?
Yes.
Board Member Malloy?
Yes.
Board Member Storms?
Yes.
Supervisor Bennett?
Yes.
Resolution 70-17, resolution approving gravel crushing bid. Whereas the Town of Shandaken Highway Department advertised for bids for crushing of item 4 at the town-owned gravel bank following the town board meeting on February 6, 2017. And whereas bids were received at the town clerk's office, Shandaken Town Hall, 7209 Route 28, P.O. Box 67, Shandaken, New York, 12480. No later than 3 p.m. on Monday, March 6, 2017, with bids to be opened at the town board meeting on the same date at 7 p.m.
You all have your checklist?
Yep.
Okay, the first one is Constantine Construction. 564 Albany Shaker Road, Loudonville, New York. Crushing, you just want the price per ton, right?
Ton.
$5.25. Next one is Clark at P.O. Box 427 in Delray, New York. Bid price is $3.85 per ton. RMS Gravel, P.O. Box 455, Dryden, New York. $4.75. Last, Northern Crushing from 167 Totem Lodge Road, Averill Park, New York. $3.45.
Eric, is there any difference in the crushing, or is it,
We give them specs of what they have to do, so they're bidding on the specs that I gave them. You have to be molar, this blade, you have to be a specific type of plant, so that, it's a uniform type crushing. A lot of guys try to come up with small plants that just can't do it. So you have to have what's called a closed loop plant, a real big, very expensive.
and they all have that?
They have. That's
Oh, okay.
It's 1 inch.
Like, so there's, I know nothing about crushing gravel.
RMS is crushed first before, and Clark is crushed first before.
Say that again?
RMS is crushed for us before,
Okay.
so is Clark.
Okay,
They do it usually every 2 or 3 years.
thank you.
So,
We go buy it, it's about $14 a ton.
okay. Therefore, oh, I'm sorry. Anything else?
No, you just mumbled.
Yeah.
Therefore, be it resolved that the Town of Shandaken Town Board approve the bid from Northern Crushing, 167 Totem Lodge Road, Haverhill Park, New York, 12018, for the bid amount of $3.45 per ton, and will furnish a closed-circuit plant, fuel, and manpower to run the plant and loader. I move its adoption.
Second.
Board Member Alba?
Yes.
Board Member DeScalani?
Yes.
Board Member Malloy?
Yes.
Board Member Storm?
Yes.
Supervisor Bennett?
Yes.
Resolution 7117, resolution for consent order. Elena T. Levinson and William J. Levinson, whereas following court proceedings between two neighbors concerning a change in their adjoining lot line, whereby the town will only need to make the adjustment on the maps and assessment roll accordingly. Therefore, be it resolved that the town board hereby authorize Kyle W. Bornett, Esquire of counsel from Van D. Walter and Van D. Walter LLP to enter into stipulation and order and sign the stipulation of discontinuance in the forms provided the town, settling the action seeking to quiet title to a 2.0 plus acre parcel of real property 1-3-1-37-100, and to declare certain easement rights claimed by the plaintiff over defendant's Rudolph's property, and move its move its adoption.
I'll second.
Board Member Alba?
Yes.
Board Member DeScalani?
Yes.
Board Member Malloy?
Yes.
Board Member Storm?
Yes.
Supervisor Bennett?
Yes.
Resolution 7217, accept resignation and advertise for highway secretary and water district's clerk and bookkeeper. Whereas under section 20 of the town law, the town board shall designate and appoint all officers and employees of the town. Therefore, be it resolved that the town accept the resignation of Susan Christiana, confidential secretary and water bookkeeping and billing clerk, effective 3/30/17, and that the town advertise for 1, highway secretary not to exceed $24,115 per year, 2, Phoenicia water bookkeeper not to exceed $2,742 per year, billing clerk not to exceed $1,436 per year, and Pine Hill water billing clerk not to exceed $1,300 per year. And I move its adoption.
Second.
Board Member Alba?
Yes.
Board Member DeScalani?
Yes.
Board Member Malloy?
Yes.
Board Member Storm? Yes. Supervisor Bennett?
Yes. Hold on a second. I'll double check.
No, that's what it should be. That's the way it should be written. It's 1.3-1.
Okay, open public comment.
I had a question, but I'm not, just before you left resolutions, I wasn't sure which resolution it related to, but you answered a question about a $50,000 annual payment for the water system.
Yes.
Can you just explain what that was in reference to? I
It was a
missed the-
zero interest loan that was taken many, many years ago, I think under Demonica, where they purchased the water system in Pine Hill, and that was a 30-year loan, and it's an annual fee that we pay $50,000 back on this loan.
I
They purchased the
remember
loan.
just fairly clearly that, I didn't remember it incorrectly, but my recollection is that it was not a 30-year loan. I remember it as a $50,000 one-time payment.
No, not at all. They did not buy the water district for $50,000. I know they did. I can show you the paperwork in the
No.
office tomorrow. It's an annual thing, it's in their budget, and it's a set rate that's based on their flat rate fee that they charge in order to pay that
I
loan.
understand, but I mean, so what you're saying is that effectively, the town
It's a
is paying
30-year
over a
loan.
period of time, $1.5 million for the acquisition of the water
It was,
system.
I believe it was 1.3 probably for the purchase. I can find out all those facts. I know it was near $1 million or more than $1 million for the purchase and upgrades, so.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, because it was a lot of money at that time, I remember that. It seemed very high. Yeah.
Any other public comments? Yes, sir.
The Catskill Mountain Railroad came in front of the planning board, saying all they wanted was time to move their trains. Then they moved their trains illegally on the weekend and finished late at night in the dark, working much like thieves, trying to be unnoticed, breaking the law. The town wrote a polite letter asking for a time schedule for moving their trains. The letter ignored the scheduled request by the town, saying they didn't know when or if they'd be ready to move their trains. Now they won't move their trains. They claim they're a common carrier and that they're entitled to keep their trains wherever they want, residential neighborhood or anywhere. In fact, they don't have tracks to go to any destination. They illegally lay tracks on the property that I generously gave the Railroad Museum when they were allowed to use the county tracks and be the tourist train they used to be. They are a for-profit business operating as though they're still the tourist train they used to be. In Kingston, where they operate successfully, the Snowflake Express or whatever, they still have tracks to operate on. In Phoenicia, they lost their right to be on county tracks. They're nothing more than a wannabe amusement park operating, or worse yet, they want to refurbish trains, a highly toxic operation. Judging from their recent history, they will stop at nothing to have their way, without regard for their surroundings. It's time to tell them to leave. I just wanted to bring that to you.
Again, if you're aware or not, I know Violet wrote an article on the Woodstock Times last week that the town did issue a floodplain violation that they have to respond to. So there is a violation existing on their property right now. So, but it's floodplain ordinance. We have been.
Isn't that like $1 a day or something?
No, it's I believe under floodplain ordinance, it's a $250 a day fine that can be assessed against them. We have had conversations. We have had conversations with our attorney pertaining to other issues, and we're kind of at a standstill. He's investigating other towns and zoning code.
Does it all depend now on the zoning board?
Again, as I said at the last meeting, it's really about your diligence, and going to those boards. Like I know there's people out there that think we're the puppet masters of these boards, but quite honestly, I sit at home watching my 6-year-old and watching on TV sometimes. So, yeah, they're aware of the issue that's coming. I think similarly to what we just went through with the definition being done by the ZBA, which is what they do, I believe what's going on now is the planning board is referring the matter to the zoning board to see if they are definable as a public transportation corporation. So again, it's just diligence at those meetings.
I think they rely on that, like in Kingston, more where they have tracks.
These are the things that you need. There will be, I'm sure, rest assured, there'll be a public hearing with the zoning board if they're defining something. So you can voice your opinion at that public hearing.
I feel better, thank you.
So, on the same thing, everywhere the CMRR has operated, they've caused problems and been cited for violations. Ulster County, City of Kingston, Shandaken, they've not kept their agreements, they've not kept up the tracks, they've had derailments which they didn't report, they moved trains onto residential property illegally at night. Is the town willing to take the risk of the kind of situation they have in Cornell Yard? Do we have those kinds of resources? The properties already meet the legal definition of a junkyard. Do you think they'll stop at storing a few trains? They have piles of more rails and creosote and, to build many more tracks just waiting. The county is examining the Cornell Yard. The final results of the Phase 2 environmental site assessment commissioned by the federal environmental protection agencies haven't yet come in. Are we willing to take on the high risk of contamination and extremely high costs of remediation here at the epicenter of where Irene flooded? The decaying trains are presently stored there, along with creosote sub ties, cars with lead paint, junk, and toxic fluids. Until the study results come in, we don't know what we're exposing ourselves to. Why would we jeopardize a whole town for a small, private, non-operating business that recently moved trains up here illegally and stored them on residential property in the special hazard flood zone? And these are photographs I took from YouTube, so they're blurry because they were from movies. But this is Station Road, and you couldn't even walk down it. The waters were so high that there was no street at all. These were some of the tracks. I'll show those to you later if you like. This is High Street. These are more of the tracks. And this is just a few feet where the trains are now. There was also flooding, and like horrendous flooding in 2006, and then before that. I mean, so we are deeply, deeply concerned about that. Also about them as a railroad. If you own a car, it doesn't mean you automatically get to drive it. And so if you have a train, it doesn't mean you can have a permit to have a railroad. They have no passengers, no tracks, no timetable, no schedule, no operating route. They would need to apply for a certificate, and it's called a Certificate of Convenience and Necessity. And for what that, the public has to have the railroad for their convenience, and it has to be a required necessity. They meet no public necessity. They never have. And if by some miracle they were to meet that criterion, there is a list of nearly 100 sections of the railroad law requiring that need to be met, including schedules, routes, fares, conditions of the trains, and the property. And they all have severe legal consequences if they're not met. I'm going to send you the list. I didn't want it. It's like this long.
There was one thing that I thought I read, and that was if they are operating trains in Kingston, that gets carried over to wherever else they have it as a public utility. Did you read anything about that?
Well, that's what they say, but there were 2 permits, and they no longer have one here. And even in Kingston, a public utility has to go from one place to another. It has to carry passengers, it has to have care. So it even doesn't qualify. It does qualify as a tourist. And if you read the permit for the eastern section, the eastern section, it repeatedly says it cannot take passengers or freight or share that with anyone else, that it is a tourist attraction, and it refers to it in all of the paragraphs in that way. So I think that's a very important point.
Well, again, I appreciate that you're providing the information to us here, and it's going out to the public. But again, it's really those boards that are going to make that decision, and you just impress upon them what you feel the facts are and what need to be presented. So I'll be
Keep
decision.
trying. Some of the boards don't let us speak. They aren't as good as you
Well,
are.
I think it depends on public hearing. It depends. Again, I've watched a couple of board meetings and tried to get them to do like we do here, where it's very formalized and
Yeah,
we allow for open public comment and
Yeah,
such.
you should be allowed to speak.
thank you.
Right.
But, oh,
Yeah, I understand you did a nice little photo montage at the last meeting. I heard about that.
yeah. Oh, yeah, she asked me. I'll show you these. Oh, do you want
Once
to see
we
them now?
once we get wrapped up, we'll wrap up.
These are really terrifying. The water, if you were there, you can even go down Railroad Avenue, and that's exactly where the trains
I was sitting on the Route 28 bridge with a police officer at the time.
terrifying.
watching
And
it.
the bridge was moved like 18 inches. You can see the line.
Thank you. Yes, Carol.
Hi, I'm just here to remind everybody about the library. There's so many fabulous programs going on in the library. And just We have a schedule, I put it downstairs on the bulletin board, but we want to just keep getting the word out. I have calendars for the month of March here, we have a calendar every month. And just this month, we're highlighting, there's a great Working with Native Plants given by Karen Ursula Edmondson, which is a great program that hopefully a lot of people in the town can come to. It's on Saturday, March 25th from 1 to 2. And I know a lot of people want to incorporate native plants on their property. And so hopefully you guys, people will come and join us for that program. And many other wonderful things going on at the library. So everybody's welcome, and I just wanted to keep getting the word out.
Thank you, Karen. Any other open public comments? If not, I'd like to move to adjourn. Sadly, we had a number of passings this month. It was a rough month for a lot of people this month. I would like to adjourn the meeting in memory of Marjorie Midge Gossel, Marge Lloyd, Louis Peck, Margaret Ryder, and Muriel Rowe. Take a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? St. March.